Believe it or not, Kefka isn't number 1. Please don't kill me. But even still, in a series as vast and varied as Final Fantasy, number 2 is still nothing to sneeze at. And even if I don't think he's the number 1 best, Kefka really does deserve all the accolades hurled his way. Kefka was once a general working for Emperor Gestahl. He was the prototype for the Magitech Knights, who underwent a process that gifted them with the power to use magic. However, Kefka was the first, so the process hadn't been perfected yet, and his mind was twisted into that of an insane nihilist. To Kefka, life is meaningless, and destruction that is the only thing that gives his life validation. So he gleefully went about doing Gestahl's dirty work as they planned to unearth the Warring Triad, 3 statues said to keep the world in balance and contain unlimited power. However, when they find it, Kefka just goes, "You know what? I want it," and betrays Gestahl. He moves the statues out of alignment, and he becomes a god, laying waste to the world and twisting it to his own whims, all because he thinks it's fun. Kefka usually gets compared to the Joker, for pretty good reason. It goes beyond just his clown-like exterior. The man is pointlessly cruel and loves every second of it. Just to give you a few examples, before the story even starts, he has the protagonist, or the closest thing to one at any rate, Terra, under mind control. And the first thing he has her do is use her magic to incinerate 40 of his own soldiers just as a test drive. When the Emperor is very effectively besieging Doma and all they have to do to win is wait it out, Kefka just up and poisons the water supply to just kill everyone in it because he thinks it's taking too long. It doesn't stop when he achieves godhood either. One of the first things he does is wipe the town of Mobliz off the face of the earth, but he leaves all the children alive to fend for themselves because he thought it'd be funny. His dialogue is a treat as well, although admittedly that's mostly thanks to the brilliant English localization by Ted Woolsey. Every word he says is dripping with malice and contempt for everyone and everything around him, and yet he's legitimately hilarious. Kefka is one of the most quotable villains in all of gaming, right up there with the likes of GLaDOS from Portal. Almost all of his scenes are just plain funny, such as his introduction where, while marching across the desert, he stops to force 2 of his underlings to wipe the sand off of his boots. Easily his most memorable trait is his love of destruction. It gets surprisingly tragic, though, if you really think about it. The ending implies that Kefka is incapable of feeling or even comprehending things like love or happiness or the simple pleasures of living. As far as he's concerned, if it doesn't last forever, it's meaningless. This actually makes him a pretty effective foil for Terra, who, like Kefka, is emotionally stunted at the start of the game and can't seem to figure out what this love thing is. But while Terra finds something that gives her life meaning, Kefka is left a grinning, empty shell of a man. And yes, as many people are so keen to point out, Kefka does destroy the world successfully, something that most villains in the series only dream of. And while I would argue that Exdeath got just as far along in his ambitions, Kefka did it better, and Kefka did it bigger. I'd also like to point out that as far as I know, he wasn't really even planning to become a god from the very beginning. The opportunity just presented itself and he figured, why not? Though this does lead to the one problem with Kefka. It is really impressive that he causes the apocalypse halfway through the game, but once that happens, he just sort of drops out of the story. Throughout the entire second half, he's just sitting on his tower firing lasers at random towns, not really doing much. He doesn't make another appearance until the final battle. But said final battle is an absolute doozy. After he reduces the world to a barren wasteland, the heroes regroup and confront him at his throne atop a tower made of the ruins of everything he destroyed. After ascending a series of monsters themed after the Divine Comedy in a pretty clever reference, they eventually face Kefka himself in an impressive godlike form, all set to Dancing Mad, one of the best songs in all of gaming. Even if the fight itself is a tad on the easy side, it's still one heck of a finale. Heck, because he absorbed the power of the Triad, killing him also removes magic from the world entirely. So even in death, Kefka managed to screw everyone over one last time. Kefka really is held in high regard as one of the best villains not just in the series, but in all of gaming. His simple yet deep motivations, his bottomless cruelty, quotable lines, disarming design, and frightening power all propel him to the best part of the best game in the series. However, I would argue that, within the context of the series at least, there is one villain I think trumps him, if only slightly. So tune in tomorrow, and if Kefka is the Joker, get ready to meet the Riddler.